This is some Greenlight good stuff called Jester's Quest, which immediately caught my eye because it was about a jester. I like jesters, it's one of those random things I like pumpkins and lon milk, and of course boglins, and goblins, actually. And yes, it's another pixel art one. You're gonna just have to suck that up. I know there are one or two commenters that are like, oh my god, he's doing more pixel side-scrolling games. Yeah, I am, because a lot of them are good when I see them on Greenlight. That's how this series works. If I see a good game and I want to pick it, and it just happens to be another side-scrolling pixel game, I'm going to do it because it's good. If it's good. Which this one turns out to be, because I had a look at it to see if it was good and decided it was good. So I'm doing it here. It's just preamble until we get to the gameplay, which is coming in a second. Here we go. Alright, so, that was Dizzy the Egg. I didn't see that the first time around. They had a Dizzy the Egg there. Anyway, as you can see, you've got a kind of overworld, it seems, top-down map-looking thing, and then it goes to side-scrolling, puzzle-solving, rock-pushing, horses. Oh, well, that was a unicorn, I think. Lots of jumping. Yeah, unicorn. Whole unicorn game bit where it runs, you jump over stuff. I think that was leading someone in a puzzle. The puzzles, there are monsters, Minotaur there, big spider, fireballs, whole clockwork bit. That looked cool. I like that little bit with the jumping and the swords. Level variety looks to be pretty expansive, if I'm to use a word I was desperately grasping for. I really like that bit where it looked like you were running across a really big battlefield with lots of knights fighting each other. And you're just a jester, just kind of running through it all. You see some attacks and stuff. Oh, that was cool. That was kind of a skeleton dragon, I guess. That's Jester's Quest, anyway. I don't know if it's a takeoff of Jester's Quest. I don't. I'm not a mind reader. I said. Did I say I'm not a mind reader? Alright, Jester's Quest, a fairy tale Metroidvania platformer with some RPG elements, you know the drill by now. Unreal Engine 4, they're talking about classic pixel art, and they are very, very adamant about that. Only true pixel art, according to them. No high-res sprites or textures, they say only carefully selected pixels. The story? Well, that was quite easy. As a little jester, you have to save the kingdom and get half of the princess. Or how was it? Okay, obviously English is not the first language of this developer. The how was it bit sort of solidified that. I am worried about get half of the princess. I don't know if maybe they meant to write get the hand of the princess as in marriage, or if literally, like King Solomon, they're gonna saw that woman in half for the pleasures of the jester. Which, I don't want to see a jester boinking a princess either end, unless they go straight down the middle, which is worse in a way. I like how ludicrously hypey some of these things are, some of these sections they've got on the page. Do you remember Shadow of the Beast Classic from Amiga with 12 layers of parallax scrolling? Well, Jester's Quest is using more than 15 of these layers for shocking parallax scrolling. Fuck! That's right, folks, this game, which is up for voting in 2017, looks better than Shadow of the Beast. Up yours, atheists! Apparently you don't have to read a single word in Jester's Quest. All beings in the kingdom talk to the player via icons. They are also speaking with their own unique language, tail speech, with more than 50-word expressions. As far as combat goes, your main weapon is a Pogocello. You can link primary attack as your damage-dealing attack with your secondary attack, which is radial or block-breaking attacks. Mix them together with multiple secondary weapons, like magic cards or jack-in-the-box bombs, or with special fairies attacks. It says, oh, don't you know that you have some fairies in your bag? Well, I do now. Apparently the fairies can pick locks, repair or summon light, and use special attacks like fireball, lightning, or poison. So, there we go. I think there should have been a comma behind repair, after repair, because I just wrote it as repair or summon light. Like, if the sun goes out, you can fix it, which you actually can't. Fairies might be able to. I don't know, I'm not a fairy. Did I mention I'm not a fairy? Or a pixie? which I think technically are two different things. Are they? Oh, they also mentioned a killer unicorn. And a soundtrack. I did like the soundtrack. It had sort of some rocky style music, well, rock-esque, rather than rocky, because then you're just thinking about Eye and the Tiger, with medieval drums and horns and pipes and things. It's good. It's good. So yes, another pixel art side-scroller which I know people are going to complain about, and it's not like I'm insensitive to the complaints. I keep an eye out for varied games. It's just that. Sorry, a lot of pixel side-scrollers look good. Well, it's certainly when I'm looking for Greenlight games. They're the ones that are jumping out at me a lot. They're the ones that... I mean, I've explained this before as well. I think they're easier to get right, because a lot of the 3D games, either a lot of them just use assets which are kind of obvious. And again, nothing wrong with using assets per se, but sometimes it's just far too obvious and it doesn't look particularly unique. And I think they're harder to look good. It's harder to make them look worthy of your attention when they're not some more detailed, original-looking, side-scrolling pixel art game. Not like you can't have asset flip pixel games, of course. RPG Maker and stuff exists for that, but I know, it's just the way probability has worked out. I'm sure you'd all love me to feature some sort of richly detailed, well-drawn visual novel about, I don't know, Caligula or something, but you can't work with what isn't there, you know? I can't just invent these things. I've just happened to do a lot of side-scrolling pixel art games, and I'm sorry for that. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm going to keep trying to look for varied things, but if I see another game that looks like Jester's Quest, and it gets me all excited, I'm going to post about it. Sorry! Oh no, I already said I'm not sorry, that bit doesn't work. I feel bad now, I didn't talk about the game very much after I mean, I talked about the game, but then I just set about justifying myself and this series for as long as it continues to last. The game looks really good. I like how that looks. I'll tell you what, I'd like to play that on 3DS or PS Vita or something like that. PS Vita. I've got to find my charger for my PS Vita, that's... it's just been sat in a room, literally covered, caked in dust now. But I'd like an excuse to turn it back on. Anyway, Jester's Quest. Side-scrolling fun. Fairy tale hijinks. And a pogo cello. Can't really go wrong with that.